I think we need to workshop the name sludge. Hey everyone, I'm Abby Sharp. Welcome back to Abby's Kitchen. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, and we are back with another Harper's Bazaar Celebrity What I Eat in a Day review. This time, I will be reviewing Canadian musician and wife to Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. Now, at the time of this interview, Grimes was pregnant with their baby, formerly known as XAE-A12 Musk. That's a bit of a mouthful. But I only bring this up because that is something to consider nutritionally in this review. Now, before we get into things, I want to chat about what I've been learning through my Skillshare membership app while social distancing at home. Now, if you haven't heard of Skillshare, they're an online learning community with a wide range of amazing creative classes for exploring new skills, developing interests, and getting lost in your own creativity. So I know a lot of people might be thinking about ways to learn some new skills and diversify in their careers, especially in these uncertain COVID times. So as a creator, I've been taking Creative Writing for All, a 10-day journaling challenge by Emily Gould. Now, this has been so valuable for helping me rekindle my love of writing in a more personal and artful way. And also, it's been kind of therapeutic. So whether you're bored, need some extra self-care, or you want to join a creative community while in isolation, Skillshare is a great resource during these times and beyond. And for my viewers and fans, the first 1,000 people to click the link below will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. And then after that, it's only about $10 a month. And of course, you can pause the screen or look in the description below to check out my disclaimer, including a trigger warning for those with current or previous experiences with disordered eating. A reminder that this format follows a celebrity's description of what they eat, and it really tells me very little about its accuracy, portions, brands, cooking preparation, etc., not to mention their overall relationship with food. So take this more as general education to the masses, not necessarily specific recommendations to Grimes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring that little bell so that you never miss out on an episode. All right, Grimes, let's start our day.
Usually I wake up and it's a struggle. So I actually have these things that I keep by the bed called Go Cubes that are like caffeinated cubes. And I usually just like eat one of those and then go back to sleep. And then slowly the caffeine enters my system and then I like wake up.
Okay, I 100% get how exhausting life with another human inside you is. Like pregnancy sometimes feels like you're walking into an aggressive gust of wind that is just constantly taking your breath away. So getting up in the morning could be a royal struggle. So as a mom, solidarity. But of course, as a dietitian, I gotta say that I would suggest avoiding any kind of caffeine pill or chew or supplement like this while pregnant. Now, one chew apparently has 50 milligrams of caffeine, which really isn't that much. So it's not necessarily what I'm worried about. But it also contains glucuronolactone, which is definitely not recommended during pregnancy. Also, because supplements like these are just not well regulated, I would be worried about things like contamination and purity. So my suggestion would be to ideally head to bed a little bit earlier if possible, or if you're still tired, just stick with regular old Joe.
Normally I just don't eat all day and then eat one giant meal at dinner, but right now I'm like pregnant, so I obviously don't have that luxury.
Okay, so it sounds like in typical circumstances, Grimes is into some form of intermittent fasting and is used to doing a pretty hardcore fast, like just one meal a day. Now, there are some early evidence-based health benefits of fasting, like blood sugar control, reducing bad cholesterol, increasing human growth hormone levels, and of course, in some cases, weight loss. But I get the sense from Grimes that she isn't fasting so much for the alleged health benefits, but maybe more just out of convenience, or I guess more so like the inconvenience of having to eat. I may be totally wrong on this, but that is just kind of the vibe I'm getting from this interview thus far. Having said that, I am happy that she's putting in an effort to eat regular meals during pregnancy. Now, we don't have any quality research on the risks associated with intermittent fasting during pregnancy. One study looking at moms-to-be who fasted for Ramadan did find no evidence of adverse impact on birth weights or preterm delivery. So that is reassuring. But still, pregnancy is just not the time to be restricting food or dieting, period. And limiting yourself to just one meal a day can make it really hard to get in all of the micronutrients, macronutrients, and calories that you need to support the growing babe, especially if you do plan to breastfeed and you need to build up some of those maternal fat stores. Not to mention, if you experience any kind of morning sickness, abstaining from eating can actually really exacerbate that pukey effect. So if you're feeling off, it is best to try to eat small, regular meals and snacks throughout the day. So on that note, let's take a look at what Grimes eats.
And I make this thing called butter toast, which is where I melt like a stick of butter on a plate, and then I put toast in it and then turn the toast over and so the toast is completely saturated in butter, and then I put a little bit of jam on it and eat that.
Okay, so I'm glad she's finding something that works for her. And honestly, buttered toast is probably one of the most popular and well-tolerated meals for nauseous moms-to-be. Now, obviously, in normal circumstances, consuming a stick of butter with bread and sweet jam wouldn't be the most nutritious option. And regular viewers of my channel would know that for the masses, and all of you watching, I would say, hey, can we maybe add some Greek yogurt or an egg for protein or some healthy fats like avocado to cut back on the saturated fat and add in some fiber there. But when you're dealing with a pregnant woman ralphing at the mere smell of most foods, my message is just eat anything that you can. As moms, we deal with constant guilt. And a lot of what we experience during pregnancy is completely out of our control. So do not feel guilty if you can't give your baby the nutrition in a colorful smoothie bowl or green juice every morning. I promise you, babies are total mooches. They will find and take whatever nutrition that they want from you, and they will dig deep into your stores. So you might feel like crap, but generally speaking, assuming you're not going into pregnancy malnourished, most babies will be totally fine for the weeks that your eating is kind of off. Not to mention, this is why we take a prenatal vitamin, right? To fill in some of those nutritional gaps. So if butter-soaked toast is well tolerated, helps her manage her pregnancy symptoms, and helps her get in some calories, then butter-soaked toast it is.
You said go to bread.
Let's see what else.
So I don't know, I'm allowed 200 milligrams of caffeine per day right now. For caffeine, I'm between the Go Cubes and matcha. So I'm really into the fancy matcha from Little Tokyo, and then you get the weird whisk thing and you whisk it up.
So I get the sense that this girl just loves her caffeine, and no judgment here, I definitely missed it too. Though I actually couldn't tolerate caffeinated coffee in my pregnancy myself, and also because my sleep was already a piece of shit, I kind of avoided it altogether. But anyways, she is right. The recommendation is to stick between 200 and 300 milligrams of caffeine daily in pregnancy, which is the equivalent of around 2 to 3 cups of coffee. And the rationale for this recommendation is that it may increase the risk of miscarriage, with one study reporting that consuming more than 150 milligrams of caffeine a day while pregnant increased the risk of miscarriage by about 19%. Now, the BMC medicine also reports that as caffeine consumption increases in 100 milligram a day increments, we see about a 13% increased risk of low birth weight. So, especially if you have a history of recurrent pregnancy loss, it's not a bad idea to cut back on the caffeine or omit it when you can.
I mean, usually my typical breakfast is the butter toast or a fortified cereal, like raisin bran, with maybe cut some bananas, blueberries, I don't know, raspberries. I actually hate fruit, but I am supposed to eat it right now.
Okay, so I'm not sure if Grimes hates fruit all the time or if this is like a pregnancy aversion, but if this is a usual preference, we can try to implement the food chaining strategies that I talked about in my Emma Chamberlain video here. So for fruit, since Grimes mentioned liking jam on her toast, we could do strawberry jam on toast, to jam with some diced strawberries on toast, to mashed up strawberries on toast, to mashed up berries on their own, to chopped strawberries to whole. And if she was able to tolerate it, I would try to bump up the protein in this breakfast, maybe with some Greek yogurt, or maybe a higher protein milk like cow's, soy, or pea protein with the cereal.
I basically hate everything besides carbs and fat. Like, I actually dislike vegetables pointedly, but they're important.
Well, I mean, that is 2/3 of our macronutrients. So I say, give yourself some credit, girl. But also it is very common to be off protein-rich foods and vegetables during pregnancy. So that's not a new thing. I mean, some statistics estimate that like 6 out of 10 moms to be will experience significant food aversions. And that's likely due to rises in the HCG hormone. But if she is feeling really turned off by protein and veg, she could try to sneak in a few by, for example, mixing some cauliflower into mashed potatoes or rice or even oatmeal, or by using like a higher protein pasta like chickpea or lentil pasta.
So to clarify, I usually go to bed around 6 in the morning. Like my breakfast usually happens at like noon or 1 p.m.
Well, this woman is like ready for motherhood. Nothing says I'm a mom like a totally f***ed up sleep schedule.
You're normal as a mom if you cry more than once a day.
I totally get now why she's needing the caffeine chew. No, but honestly, I feel like a newborn sleep schedule is going to be a breeze if she's used to going to bed at 6 a.m. Anyways, let's see what else she's gonna eat.
I'm really into this weird recipe I made called sludge. It's like you take couscous, you make the couscous, you take like a ton of veganese and take a ton of sriracha. Weirdly, celery tastes really good in this. Tomatoes. If you steam some spinach.
I mean, the title could use some workshopping. I'm not sure Couscous's marketing department would be down with calling this Grimes recipe sludge, but I mean, the dish itself doesn't sound so bad. We have got some super easy to prepare carbs with couscous, with some fat in the veganese, and some veggies and fruit. So yeah, if sludge helps you enjoy your vegetables, I say sludge it up. Now, one way we could get the iron-rich protein and stick with the sludge theme would be to puree a can of white beans in with the veganase for like a thick protein-rich paste. And that'll help glue all those couscous grains together. So I don't know, sludge could be the PVA glue of 2020. Yeah, and if you don't get that reference, you need to watch my holiday vlog right here. All right, I want to hear more about some of Grimes's recipes.
On the last tour, for my last record, I had this thing, because I was vegan, and I had this thing where I was like the only reliable food is spaghetti. So I was only eating spaghetti for like a year or 2 years. I only ate spaghetti. And then I was just like so sick, and my hair actually stopped growing, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you actually are malnourished from not eating vegetables or meat and just eating spaghetti.
Oh God, that does not sound good. But yeah, hair loss is associated with a few different major nutritional deficiencies, largely vitamin D and iron, but also just not eating enough calories and protein. So if she legit was subsisting on just spaghetti and underfueling on calories in general, hair loss would be a definite actual concern. But also, I mean, I would be more concerned with things like muscle wasting and suppressed immune system, way more so than thin hair. But anyways, still, I am glad that she got past that eating phase of life. As for her love of spaghetti, I do agree, it's generally hard to mess up spaghetti, but it's also not easy to do it really, really good. But if we revisit the picky eating strategies, one thing Grimes could do to sneak in some veggies is she could puree some bell peppers and squash into her pasta sauce, or mix her spaghetti noodles with zucchini noodles to help kind of bulk it up.
My favorite restaurant is Cactus Taqueria. I get the veggie burrito. I get all the green sauces. I think it's called salsa verde. Please excuse my incredible ignorance. I'm Canadian.
That sounds delicious, and I think burritos are just inherently pretty well balanced. I mean, we got protein-rich beans and veggies and healthy fats in the guacamole and carbs in the wrap and this rice. Also, I just love how passionate she is about the salsa verde, or the green sauce, because it's actually made out of vegetables.
False.
Okay, so it is a fruit, I guess. Tomatillos are officially a fruit. But still, that is great to hear coming from someone who shares so much general disdain for produce. So adding a familiar and tolerated sauce or dip to new foods that you're learning to like is another really common picky eating strategy that we use to encourage trying new foods. So if she likes salsa verde, I say put that shit on everything. Eggs, baked potatoes, shredded veggie chicken, salad, veggie burgers, veggie chili, whatever. You know, like, so you get a salsa verde and you get a salsa verde and we all get salsa verde. So I say, girl, if it's working for you, work it.
Like, I don't do cheat meals because I don't believe in dieting. Like, I just feel like there's like a lot of bad shit in society about body image and stuff. So I don't know, I try to just eat what I want. But my comfort food, I guess, salt and vinegar chips. Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar chips.
Yes. I mean, this sentiment really isn't surprising to me coming from her. She doesn't really peg me as someone ringing in the new year with like a food combining diet or like an alkaline diet. But she does seem pretty confident in her body and her relationship with food, and clearly eats what she likes with no fucks given for what society deems as good or bad.
Whatever.
Sure, if I was her dietitian, I would love to help her enjoy fruits and vegetables more so that they're not such a chore. But regardless, I am here for her shame-free attitude around food. As for her comfort food of choice, I am definitely with Grimes on this one. Love me some salt and vinegar chips. Especially when I was pregnant with E, I would have a big bowl of Miss Vicky's before bed pretty much every single night, because that combination of like salty carbs and acidity definitely helped to quell my morning/day/night sickness. But also, if you want to know a delicious combination, salt and vinegar chips with some Oreo ice cream. Don't knock it. Grimes, girl, try it. I honestly think you will approve. If you like sludge, you're gonna like the Oreo ice cream Miss Vicky's combination. Let's see what else she has to say.
I'm supposed to eat, it's vile, but just pure, and I forget why I'm supposed to eat it, but the cottage cheese. Just eating a lot of cottage cheese. There's some nutrient I'm supposed to get from it.
I don't know, maybe protein or calcium, some cases vitamin D. There's a lot of great stuff in cottage cheese, so it is definitely one of my go-to favorite snacks. And a cup of the stuff contains around 30 grams of protein, and it's specifically rich in what we call casein protein, which is a slow digesting protein. So it's a really great satiating bedtime snack. But if she isn't jazzed about having it just plain, she could try making my 2-ingredient protein froyo that I shared in my video right here, where you literally puree cottage cheese until it's like really creamy and smooth, and you add in frozen fruit. So incredibly good, and also a really great choice for expectant moms and kids as well. So I'm gonna leave a link below. Let's see what else she has to say.
But I invented this like weird thing where I like make a thin thing with a tomato, and then I like chop some avocado on it, and then I put like a bit of nutritional yeast on it, like salt and pepper, and it's like a weird little sandwich. It's quite good.
Okay, so this is a curveball, but I appreciate Grimes keeping me on the edge here. Now, for somebody who apparently hates vegetables and fruit, this is literally a fruit sandwich. Like, there's not even any bread involved here. So I don't know, I personally have never really understood sandwiches made out of vegetables, or in this case, fruit as the bun. Like, I get that it's a way to cut carbs, but like, isn't that messy and sticky and drippy? It makes me uncomfortable to think about holding like a juicy slice of tomato with my hands. But I don't know, if she likes it and it helps her get in her 5 to 10 servings of fruits and veggies a day, I do not see an issue. especially because we've got a little bit of protein in the nutritional yeast and we've got some healthy fats in the avocado. So that is a win. But ideally, we could boost the nutrition up with some nice whole grain protein rich bread and maybe some smashed chickpeas or some hummus in there for some extra protein. But again, I am just happy to hear about some ways that Grimes is enjoying eating produce. Let's take a look at dinner.
I eat a lot of like xiaolongbao or dumplings. That's one of my primary favorite dinner things. Dumplings are pretty fantastic. Dumplings are like spaghetti, where they're one of these incredible foods that always taste good. But unlike spaghetti, they have more like nutrients.
I also love me some dumplings, especially a good xiaolongbao, which are traditionally filled with pork, but I've also seen them done with veggies as well. So yes, she would be getting a little bit more protein in a dumpling compared to just straight up noodles. But if we want to bump that up a bit, we could saute in some bok choy or Chinese broccoli or another vegetable that she likes, and then serve it with some whole grain rice.
I love hot dogs because they don't kill cows for hot dogs. So it's like you can eat hot dogs without guilt if you need meat, but you still have vegan tendencies. You want to try to like avoid creating demand for stuff because it's just all the waste, it's all the extra product. So
I don't know, I'm not sure my vegan followers would agree with that sentiment, but I'm staying out of that inevitable YouTube shitstorm. But I will say, in short, yes, most of hot dogs are often made from mechanically separated meat, which is basically a process that forces bones with the attached edible meat through a sieve at high pressure. But also from my research, hot dogs can only contain up to 20% mechanically separated meat, and the rest needs to be actual meat pieces. So if you are morally against eating meat, I would probably suggest going with a veggie dog, or you could like go to one of these bougie vegan restaurants here in Toronto or LA and pay $20 for a roasted carrot in a bun. You do you, and if you like hot dogs, you do you. Perfect.
I get the Green Hornet where they just put avocado all over it and it's like super spicy. It's just like a hot dog with like tons of like guacamole.
That is not a bad combo. I mean, if there was ever a way to make a hot dog more nutritious and balanced, it would probably be with a solid dollop of guac. Nice.
Right now I'm not drinking at all, but I love like dark beer, I guess. Like I love like thick beer. I also really love kombucha. Right now I'm drinking a lot of kefir. Lately it's just the one pregnancy craving I have is just actually a glass of milk.
Very eclectic selection of beverages. Now I know she mentioned she's not drinking right now, but I thought that the dark beer option was an interesting one because back in my parents' days, doctors used to prescribe a thick dark beer like Guinness to expectant moms. And the thinking was that dark beer would help supply mom with extra iron, and iron needs are particularly high during pregnancy due to increased blood volume. But then if you actually look up the nutritional content of like a pint of Guinness, we're looking at just 0.1 milligrams, which is literally nothing. You would get the same amount of iron from just eating a handful of peas. As for her other drink choices, kombucha also is not recommended during pregnancy, mainly because there is a super small risk that the live bacteria inside can cause illness. Now, kefir and milk, on the other hand, are great options since they provide the extra protein and calcium that baby needs. So if she's having a hard time tolerating other sources of protein, kefir and milk would be some awesome choices. So in conclusion, is Grimes' pregnancy diet the healthiest thing online right now? No, but I do see her making efforts to fuel her body and baby by eating more regularly and finding ways to get in her produce, even if she's not usually a big fan. And I will say that that in itself is a really great act of self-care. I don't have a lot to go on here, just this short interview, but she does seem to reject common diet mentality and just kind of eat in a way that feels good to her. So the diet changes that I see her making, like not just eating spaghetti every single day or incorporating some more fruits and veggies, seem pretty gentle rather than militant and punishing. So I wish Grimes a lot of luck and happiness in motherhood, and I hope that over time, with a little bit of practice, she can learn to like some more new foods. And on that note, that is all for me today. So thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Another reminder that this review was not intended to critique Grimes personally or professionally. And I also understand that this very short Harper's Bazaar video may not be an accurate representation of how Grimes regularly eats. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see me do more of these kinds of reviews, definitely leave me a comment below with who you want me to review next. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!